Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Danny Gonzalez.
You're dead wrong, dude. You're going to be so embarrassed.
What?
To make that mistake now of all times.
When
Wait.
you see the comments at the end, like after we post this, they're going to all tell you how you screwed up, how you messed up.
I don't think I messed it up.
Post this.
I've said the intro of the show
Post
so
the,
many times.
the podcast. that
What
we're
do you
doing.
mean
Oh.
post it?
We could release this one.
Like a post-it note?
yeah.
You could, yeah, I thought this was going to, you weren't thinking of posting it? This is just like a
No,
practice one,
dude.
or?
You sound insane.
This is a fucking influencer type.
What are you
He's
Welcome back to
always
the
trying to do
gaslighting podcast.
Yeah, so clout-based.
Dude, whatever
bro.
happened to
What?
just being friends and hanging out?
Yeah, I guess so.
making 50 episodes of the podcast just so we can do one with you and make you confused and then stop the show.
That's our very low rent Nathan Fielder stunt.
Great experiment.
It's like we brought our friend to do a podcast where we didn't hit record.
And then you just at the end are like, oh, that's the big payoff. We had to hire people to get here.
They should like sell just like packs of fake microphones and cameras for guys to hang out where they can like talk about their feelings and stuff, but
Yeah.
like with the ruse that it's a podcast, but it's kind of just like a fake fun
Right.
podcast themed party or something like
Right.
that.
They could be like a blow-up doll version of Jamie from the Joe Rogan Experience. You can
Yeah,
ask him to
Jamie,
pull
look that
stuff
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen
With the
the?
mouth that's like,
There's like a kid's toy that's like an influencer kit where it's like fake cameras.
Is that
but-
real?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I know.
oh, yucky.
I don't think it's like a mass-produced product. I think it's one of those like bespoke toys. But I remember it went viral because.
It's like I gotta add that to our registry.
Yeah, I was gonna say like. Yeah, can you get my kid a vlogging?
As a
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. That's the first thing I'm gonna teach them, man. They gotta learn how to
Dan.
vlog.
What's
I'm
going
calling
on,
you
guys?
Dan now because
that's
you're
right.
about to be a father, and
That's
so
right.
you've got to graduate from Danny.
I gotta have a grown up name now.
You gotta have a grown-up name. So
Men must do
Dan,
men things. No more baby stuff. No more watching anime cartoons for babies.
First of all, congrats.
Thank you.
I heard you're doing the birthing, which is kind of a.
A seahorse style.
They say chivalry's dead, but you said you take the load off of Laura's back.
Yeah, that's right. I decided to take that burden for her.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, because she was kind of stressed about it. I was like, hey, just let me do it.
Let me do it.
An
Yeah.
empath.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? Let a man handle it.
This is man's work. I push her off the hospital bed. This is a man's job.
We're hanging out right now.
This is for you.
Laura's in the other room right now. We are at a little house hanging out.
I thought you were gonna say we're at VidCon, but we are at a little house on the
Well,
prairie.
He doesn't know
True.
why we're here, and he's too shy to ask.
We are at a little house.
Just at a damn place.
Well,
Yeah,
this
we're
is
at
at
the
VidCon.
little house for the little show that's going on.
Yeah, we're doing a little show at a little house.
Hey, come on now. Welcome to the little house. It's nice. I'm digging it.
You know what? This is the nicest Airbnb I've stayed at in a while.
Yeah.
I've not had good luck with Airbnbs lately.
Really?
Yeah. Did I
What-
tell you we were just in Orange County like 2 weeks ago for a wedding, and we canceled the
Yeah.
Airbnb because it
Oh
was like,
no.
yeah, it was. I think that she was the host was like not technically allowed to have an Airbnb. It was like an apartment.
Oh shit.
And, you know,
they were renting.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah. Like on most leases, it says like you can't have an Airbnb.
Even nowadays, they say specifically like no Airbnb, no VRBO.
Yeah. So we got there and we didn't know that was going to be the situation. And then she, in order to get into the parking garage, she gave us like a code to type in that would open the garage. But then she was like, by the way, this is technically a delivery code. As if, you know, like one that you would give a delivery driver.
Right.
And it expires after one use. So next time you want to come back into it, you'll have to text me and I'll have to send you a code. And I was like, so every time we have to come in and out of the Airbnb, we have to like ask permission basically and be like, can you send us a code?
Yeah.
When I first came down to LA, before moving, we, myself and the person I was staying with, they had set it up, and they're generally good at picking locations, so I wasn't all that involved in it. It's women's work. And while I was busy giving birth.
That's right, yeah.
We arrived, perfectly nice building. It was an apartment complex in Glendale. I'm like, okay, this all seems legit. And then they started giving us weird clandestine cloak and dagger things we had to do. Like anytime that we left, we because there were cameras in the hallway, we had to try to make it look like we weren't locking the door. Because that would, I guess, imply that we have the keys as opposed to a visiting.
Oh.
If we were asked by anyone,
It's like a stealth mission.
Yeah.
if we got asked by anyone who we were or like who we were with, we had to say we were like visiting Maria.
What the hell? There's also trained snipers that are ready to assassinate you if you make one wrong move.
This radio is how you'll talk to Otacon, who's in the control room and can tell you what's around every corner.
I don't know how to get back in. It's a delivery code, Snake.
Whatever you do, say you're visiting Maria. It's not someone who lives here. It's someone from his own life that'll send him into like a flashback.
He's like a sleeper.
Yeah, it'll distract him for a little
Yeah.
bit. Maria.
Flashes you back.
Faded back and
He's
it's
on
him.
a swing set with Maria and the child.
Same clothes, still a landlord. Just a smaller version of the landlord.
Real quick, I just wanted to say we just released a Jarvis Johnson Gold inspired Your Premium collection over on jarvis.store. It's a merch drop. We've got a new merch partner. We've been working on it for a very long time, and I'm finally excited for you to see it. We've got sweatshirts, sweatpants. We got shirts, long sleeve shirts, rugby shirts, lots of cool stuff to check out. I can't wait to see people posting photos in it. So head on over to jarvis.store to check that out. How is pending fatherhood?
Oh, speaking of the like giving birth for someone, I saw like I forget if it was a tweet or something, or maybe just someone told me this, but like I saw something that was like, when I was a kid, in order to get me to go to the bathroom, like before road trips and stuff, my dad would convince me that I could pee for him. So the dad would be like, "Hey, I'm busy
Someone
like
told you
loading up."
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were like,
Isn't it a story from your
No,
life?
no, this didn't happen to
Okay.
me. But
Okay.
yeah, I guess their
Happened to
dad was
Maria.
like, "Hey, I'm busy like loading up the car or whatever. Can you go pee for me? That way I like." And it was like it worked every time.
Oh, that's
'Cause-
awesome.
Yeah.
You say that's the one thing you prepared to be a father.
Yeah, so that's sort of like a neat life hack to sort of like lie to your kids.
Right, right.
Yeah.
When your baby refuses to pee.
Hey,
You know
could
how
you
they
like
like to do.
could you go pee for me and like not come back?
At the store to get milk.
Yeah, just like not return.
Yeah, I've got to go to the store and get milk. Can you pee for me, please?
Yeah.
Please.
Can you close your eyes real quick so I can escape?
But to answer your question, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's only so much preparing you can do, like
Right.
mentally. I don't know.
I feel like there's books people say, but they also
I-
say like don't read too many.
Yeah, I read one book.
Okay.
And that book kind of said, don't read too many.
Okay, yeah. That may be though like in the best interest of the author is like this is the book that you need to read.
Yeah, the only other books I would recommend are these other books that are also written by me. But other
yeah.
than that, don't stress yourself
It'll
out too
be
much,
like
man.
a square peg in a round hole. Like it won't work.
Yeah.
Like the parenting, the baby will like speak like the wrong language.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of
Whatever.
nuance to raising a baby. So this book is the only book you need. It may not work. Babies are confusing. I didn't finish it. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember. I got distracted. I got really into Final Fantasy 14. I lost a little time.
I actually wasn't able to finish raising my child. My husband said this is man's work.
Yeah, man's right.
I had to
and he
pack
sent
my
me
bags.
to the local Starbucks to write a book on parenting.
My writing's cut off at about 3.5. That was when I dipped out, I guess.
But we have a nursery all set up.
Ooh,
We have a crib and a rocking chair.
that's fun.
All that fun stuff. Laura found I don't know if this is like standard, but she found a crib mattress that you can breathe through just in case like the baby rolls over on their
Oh.
tummy. And I think babies are generally like, they have the instinct where they don't just like put their mouth directly onto like something they
Right,
can't breathe, but
right.
just in case. So like, she said like all of the videos of it on TikTok and stuff are like dads like just holding it up and breathing through it. So that was like the first thing I did
Holding
when we
the
got.
baby
yeah, it's just a bunch of dads just. No, but I was that was like the first thing I did when we got it. Is just like put my mouth on it and breathe through it. It just feels like breathing normally. It's kind of
Whoa,
crazy.
that's
yeah.
Really?
crazy.
Yeah, it's like very porous. Do you have any questions about pending fatherhood?
How'd you
guys,
do it?
How'd I do it?
Where's
wait,
that come
I
from?
still don't know, man.
Oh yeah,
dude.
because we kind of have a bet running on how like babies are made.
Oh, okay, cool.
We know,
Yeah, hopefully I can
obviously.
settle that
No, we obviously know.
someday when I find out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just let us know. I was hoping you would know by now.
Yeah, when we went to the doctor, she said something about how the baby was made, but it didn't sound. It sounded too weird and
Yeah. Like no way that's
kind of
real.
gross and icky. So I think she was just
Yeah.
kidding.
You had to leave to pee for her.
Yeah.
She explained it to Laura while you were peeing for her.
Yeah, that's right.
Was when you did like the tactical stroller stuff, was that planned?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Okay, so I got a lot of comments when that video came out.
Right.
That were people being like, oh, I thought this video was going to be a pregnancy announcement when I saw like the title and thumbnail. I thought this is going to be like tied into it. And then, so like, I think some people were kind of suspecting for a while that video like had something to do with having a baby.
Right.
But no, I started making that video before we found out Laura was pregnant, but I found out while making that video.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's when
weird.
we found out Laura was pregnant. I was like, I forget like exactly where in the process. But it's funny because I think I said somewhere in that video like, oh, this is giving me baby fever or something.
Yeah.
I'm walking around with this stroller. But I think like when I filmed that, I think that was probably like the day after I found out that Laura was pregnant. So
You should make a video about how we both strike it rich and win the lottery. Because then maybe it'll happen during the production of the video.
Yeah, that's right.
But I don't want to like pay for the ticket and shit. So
You don't even want to pay
You
for a
don't wanna
lottery?
pay
They're
for
like
the
$1.
lottery ticket?
I haven't
Yeah.
won it yet. I can't
Right,
throw in
but, like,
cash around.
Will you pay me back once you win?
Of course.
You didn't sound too sure.
It sounded like a lie.
I will.
Okay, it sounds like
definitely
you're
pay
lying
you
too.
back.
Okay.
Of course.
You guys are lying to me.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a crazy lottery story. Can I tell you guys this story? I've been actually waiting to be on a podcast because I want to tell this story.
This is
Okay,
great.
all right.
Okay. Did I tell you guys we just moved like a few months ago? So we were in the process of selling our house and we got an offer that we accepted that was like list price, a cash offer. Okay. And we were like, oh, that's great. So we accepted the offer and we like went under contract with this person. And I've told you guys this before, but like our neighbors in that neighborhood were all like older and retired age.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess we just like we accidentally moved into a retirement neighborhood kind of a few years ago when we bought that house because it was all like mostly 1-story houses or like the master was always on the first floor. So it was just like, I guess just all old people like living in that kind of house. And we didn't realize it until we moved in. But anyway, all our neighbors are like old and they love to garden and landscape. So I was like, oh, I hope whoever we accepted their offer, I hope that they'll get along with our neighbors.
Right.
So I Googled the person's name in the contract and I couldn't find her on social media. She wasn't on Facebook or anything, but an article came up and I'm not going to say their names, but an article came up about her husband, who was a police officer in like a surrounding Chicago suburb.
Yeah.
And the article was about how he had stolen like $70,000 from the police department.
Right.
Defunding the police, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, he kind of took it under his own. Under his own
finally.
wing.
Yeah, but
Actions,
it wasn't
not
just
words.
it wasn't just the police department. It was like a charity that the police department was running.
Oh.
So I was like,
Defunding.
oh my God, these people are like pieces of shit. And they're going to move into my neighborhood with like a bunch of my like sweet old neighbors.
Right.
But so it wasn't just that. The rest of the article was like, his bail is set for like $200,000 or something. But luckily his wife, who is the name that I Googled, can pay for it because she just won the Illinois lottery for $2 million.
That's not that much money. She won the lottery.
Well, for being such big pieces of shit, that's a lot of money.
But then
I think.
also the lottery, at least here, do you have the lottery in the UK?
Yeah, weirdly, despite the fact that gambling is like so regular.
Yeah. So because here there's like
we have the Euro Millions. That's like
interesting. But yeah,
guess
it's like
combined.
they're scaling degrees of winning the lottery.
Yeah.
Because there's like the biggest one where you win like $1 billion.
Yeah.
And then like kind of all the way to like $15, you know, or another ticket for free or something like that. So
that could be how I get mine.
yeah, Danny, you'd have to win big enough to get another ticket for free.
Yeah,
But
maybe
you have to pay for the first ticket also.
Do you think that could be like an infinite money loop? If you just keep using the money to buy more tickets,
Right.
and then you just keep winning.
Yeah, technically it's possible.
I guess
That's right.
It's not so much an infinite money loop in that basically you just spent $1 forever.
Yeah, like if you
You know what I
only
mean?
you have to win at least another ticket. But then you would also have to have the opportunity to win more. Because if you just win another ticket over and over, then that's kind of like That's kind of like you've been sentenced to a never-ending loop of playing the lottery.
Your Sunday nights are just like busy.
Yeah, it's not an infinite money loop. It's like an infinite work loop.
Work loop of
Yeah.
buying lottery
A
tickets.
best case scenario, you end with the dollar that you started the loop with.
Yeah. Oh wait. Okay. So there's an end to this story that's even crazier. Okay.
Okay.
Now
this
part
person
is
stole $70,000 from a charity.
yes.
Oh, yeah, and so
his
they-
wife won the
1.2 million.
lottery. Just like happened to at the same time that he was stealing money, and it's like I guess he didn't need to steal all that money
Ew.
because his wife just won the lottery. You
Yeah,
know,
and-
he should have just waited.
Sometimes it's for the thrill.
I guess. Well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no!
Speaking of for the thrill. Okay. So they offered us cash offer, and so after I found out they won the lottery, I was like, no wonder they offered us a cash
Yeah.
offer on the house. That makes sense. But then they just like ghosted us after we signed the contract. We were waiting for them to put their like earnest money deposit, and they never did. And eventually they just like we had to like cancel that offer, and eventually someone else like bought the house.
Oh.
But when our realtor was talking to like the new person's realtor who actually bought the house, that realtor was like, so why did the previous offer fall through? Because he was like worried there's something wrong with the house or something.
Right.
And our realtor started to explain to them what happened. He was like, I don't know. They like had some kind of family emergency. And the other realtor was like, was it an all cash offer? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, I forget what else. He was like, did they have to go out of state for like a family emergency or something? And he was like, yeah. And then he was like, was it? And then he said the person's name.
Yo.
And he was like, yes. And he was like, they have done this 72 times.
What?
Allegedly. In the Illinois like area. They're like well known for doing this for the thrill, apparently, for no other reason.
Because what do you get? Like,
You
they
couldn't
just wanna
possibly,
be-
yeah.
They just want someone to be like, okay, you can buy our house. And they're
Yeah.
like, yes. And then they're like, that's it.
For the thrill, there's a lot of thrilling stuff you can do with $2 million. I feel like do one of those thrilling things. Buy a jet ski.
I don't know, dude. I think these people are just kind of like
Weird.
just a little wacky. I don't know.
It's like Ocean's 11. They have enough money, but they're
Yeah.
career criminals. You know?
Yeah, they just have to do one last job, so to speak. But the job is like making it harder for me to sell my house.
They
Yeah.
have to bother one last
They're
Chicago
actually
and
caught in a loop where they keep winning the lottery, but they have to put it's for a new ticket and a cash offer on a
Nice.
house.
Yeah.
for a new contract to sign.
Yeah, and then
and
they
they literally just diss it, like not a word from them.
I think like so they disappeared for like a week and then texted their real estate agent that they had a family emergency, and so then that made it back to us and they said they couldn't continue with the house. So I'm assuming
wonder
that
if
that's what they
they're-
do every time.
I wonder if they're using the same real estate agent. And if you scroll up in their text
They're like,
history,
"Oh,
it's
come
like,
on."
yeah, another family emergency
Yeah.
happened. They're
And
like,
this real estate
"This
agent is
has
just
happened
none the wiser. They just have not
71
figured it
other
out.
times.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
How many real estate agencies can be available in the local Illinois area?
Right, right.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, I told another family member that, and they were like, "What if the person who actually did buy your house, like, hired those people to try to get the price on your house down? Because we actually did have to like lower the price after we put it back on the market, because it was kind of like, you know, we had it off the market for so long while we were waiting for them to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, but
Yeah. I wonder
They've done it 71 times before. I think they could do it in 70 seconds.
because like if
Yeah.
you do that with like eBay sales, it's like technically I don't know if it's illegal or if it's just against their terms of service, but I think there's got to be some sort of fraud that's happening there, right?
it definitely does feel like some kind of fraud.
Yeah.
That is something
But
a
is it-
member of my family was banned from eBay for doing.
For fraud.
Ooh.
They were that their entire job at one point was they were
Is
reselling
this Gary
a certain
V?
thing.
Are you related to Gary V?
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, sorry.
Shut up, dude.
He's one of V's friends.
Dude, he's gonna DM me along with
no.
every basketballer
Hoip all
every
is
day.
well or whatever he.
To me, he said, "Keep it pushing, JJ."
Oh, yeah,
keep it
pushing.
moving or keep it pushing. Something like
keep
that.
it moving.
Keep
I thought it was
moving.
keep it pushing. I think there's
Yeah, keep it moving sounds like I'm in his way.
Yeah.
He's like,
Keep it
hey,
moving,
keep it
JJ.
moving, JJ.
Come on, JJ.
Yo, I'm walking here.
walking it.
Keep it pushing would be more confusing. Keep
Oh,
it
man.
pushing, JJ.
Yeah, that's what Laura's going to be saying to me in the delivery room while I'm
right.
doing the
Right,
man's
right.
job.
Keep on. Come on.
Yeah, you do
Keep it
like
pushing,
some sort
Dan.
of like Dan. Yeah, it starts with keep it pushing, Danny, and then for a brief moment, it's like
I
keep
become
it
Dan.
pushing, Dan.
That's how I'll know I've made it.
Yeah, that's how you know you became a boy, a
Each-
man. You became
Each
a boy.
third the baby gets out, you lose one letter.
Yeah. Keep it coming,
Dan.
No.
And then I'm just D by the end of it.
Big dog.
Whoa.
Big
Big
D.
dog D.
The dog.
How many VidCons have you been to?
I think like 7.
Yeah.
Back to
Yeah.
back?
Well, I guess for like,
Couple
except
years,
for the 2 years or whatever,
pandemic,
2 or
we
3
had
years
the
that
cancel.
COVID was ravaging
Right.
the world. But
Allegedly.
yeah, so I think the first one I went to was probably like 2015. So like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then 22 and 23.
Yeah, because my first one was 2017. So then this is my 5th one.
Yeah, that's crazy. It doesn't feel like we've
I
been to that
know,
many,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
It's also just kind of Groundhog Day a little bit because it's like now we're getting to that point where I have such vivid memories of like the last year that we were at VidCon, and so it's all
We're
starting
going to
run
a high
together.
school reunion every year.
Yeah, it's odd, but I feel like I have a healthier relationship with it now than I did when I first came because I felt like I needed to be doing everything. And
I
be
feel
everywhere.
a lot less anxious this time
Yeah.
around. There was you guys were doing, you had a panel and you were doing a meet and greet, right? This morning, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And I woke up a little later. We were hanging here with a few of the other people, Jakey, Billy, Chrissy, and we were all thinking about heading over to go see what we could get for free from the hotel. But we were texting about doing the show after you guys got back, and honestly, it was a godsend. Like just sitting at home for a little while, recouping my mental losses a little bit, eating another donut unwisely.
Yeah.
It's just like whereas there was a point in time. This is I think my first VidCon where I'm not here at least in a little bit of a work capacity.
Yeah.
Like where I should be doing something or I should be going to X or Y panel.
right.
And you guys ever go on vacation to a new place or like a completely new environment and you're so anxious to do all of the tourist things you need to do?
Oh, yeah.
And then you go back to that or a similar place and you're like, it's all jazz, baby.
Yeah.
I'll take a day at home.
Yeah. I've seen all there is to see, man.
I think that's what it
Paris.
is. Like we've kind of been around the block, so it's less. I think about Dipper when I take him on walks, and he like wants to sniff and smell everything.
Yeah.
And eventually he's like, I know what this thing smells like.
Yeah.
Oh,
know?
the lamppost, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like,
Still
yeah, I might
here.
smell it
That's
a
how
little
I feel
bit.
at VidCon too. I'm like, I already know how this place smells.
Yeah.
I already know all this.
I know him.
I don't need to say hi to him. I know how he
Yeah.
smells, man.
Put his hand in, but he goes
Yeah.
out to shake it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Knew
had a
Ah,
panel
Link.
yesterday. We had a panel yesterday. I don't know if it was filmed or anything like that, but
Well, it was live streamed for
Oh.
people because you can. I guess there's like a new tier of VidCon tickets where you can just like watch the streams of
Right,
everything.
right.
So I saw someone was like live streaming it. So
Cool.
maybe it'll be posted at
Yeah,
some
I'm sure
point.
there's
later
but yeah,
on-
it was
on
like
YouTube.
it was it was like Danny, Curtis, Chad, Eddie,
Drew.
moderating it. Drew was moderating it, and then who else? It was me. Is the last guy.
Yeah,
you
that's
were
right.
kicking
Yeah,
it. Yeah, that was
last and least.
That was in order of quality, and I won't say
in
which
order
way.
of quality, in which way? Who knows?
Eddie also had a panel earlier that day where they mistakenly just big letters right above him, photo of him along with the other panelists, Eddie Burbank.
Eddie
That makes
Burbank.
him sound like he's like the mayor of Burbank or
right.
something. Or
Or
like
like
he's
NoHo
like
Hank.
the most eligible bachelor
Yeah.
in Burbank or something like that.
or like a high-powered lawyer,
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
They told me, you need my help. with
Yeah.
Eddie Burbank.
I'm Eddie Burbank. Call 1-800. Yeah, have you or a relative been affected by mesothelioma or something?
Or it's one of those. I don't know if you've seen them. There's a lot of like billboards and posters, especially in downtown LA, where the lawyer posters are themed to look like posters for famous movies.
Oh, really?
Oh.
No, I haven't seen that.
There's one really near my place that just says Law Land.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty funny.
yeah.
And then
I like that.
A Better Call Saul theming is a really common one, which is not a lawyer I think I would want to be associated with.
No, definitely
I will
not.
lie for you.
Yeah. Is it just like Better Call and then it's his like actual name? Like,
Better call me
Dave.
if you got hit by an Uber.
Call Dave.
Speaking of 1-800 numbers, did you saw the shirt I was wearing yesterday that said like call 1-800 grandma?
yeah.
So when we were at the party yesterday, I think like Drew or Eddie actually called the number and it's a sex hotline.
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know if the numbers
yeah,
that like
which came
grandma
first.
corresponds to
Yeah.
maybe like spell something else out, like
It wasn't
hot
a grandma
babe or something.
Yeah.
When the grandma themed.
No, it just said like there's 5 like hot ladies ready to talk to you and they're gonna
That sounds
talk
like
to
an
you.
interview question for a tech company. In fact, it is an interview question for a tech company. I was asked by Facebook many years ago to like figure out all the permutations of what was it? It was something like figure out all the permutations that you can dial with a phone number or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you could easily write a program to figure out what other letters, but I won't do it.
Yeah, someone in the comments leave like what else grandma, like those corresponding numbers could spell. I bet it's Hot Babe.
Yeah, I think Hot Babe's good because it's the right number of letters.
Yeah, but I guess actually, wait.
G has H
R
in it.
and O are not close enough together on the alphabet.
Yeah.
They have 6 and 7.
Damn.
Damn it. What's the point, man? I'm sorry. I'm in like a crazy mood.
Yeah, you're a little off today,
Just
man.
found out about the wage gap.
Oh no.
I think
No!
you said that yesterday at breakfast.
Yeah,
you've kind of
I
been
found out
saying
about
that.
it like a couple of years ago, and I'm still so,
Like, I don't want to.
so
So upset about it.
Yeah.
I just want to.
Yeah.
I want all the people out there affected by it to just know that, like, you know, Wakanda.
Oh my god.
I don't really know if Wakanda Forever is really related.
people
to
who-
I
the
actually
wage
heard that
gap.
it's worse there. The
In
wage
Wakanda?
gap. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no.
a lot
Oh,
worse
God.
there.
Are you familiar with Ruthkanda Forever?
What?
I showed this to a friend BB and Jarvis the other day. I'll just have you read it. It is my favorite tweet ever.
There is a town in Illinois called Wakanda, but it's spelled different. It's like Wakanda.
Oh, okay.
But it is. I mean, it's like if most people just pronounce it Wakanda.
Were they like excited about Black Panther? Or were they like, what the heck?
That's actually where Mason Ramsey's from.
No.
Yeah, it's
what?
like a very small like rural place. I think
I'm
I've never
from
been
Wakanda.
there. Yeah, but it's nothing like the movies. I don't know if they were excited when Black Panther came out. Really,
Take a little look at this tweet. Read it out for the class.
you want me to read it? Just told my 10-year-old daughter about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She had tears in her eyes, and then she did the Wakanda pose and said Ruthkanda forever, which is the sort of pop culture crossover that I can celebrate.
Yeah.
It is somehow completely real.
What?
I thought it was super parody. I think it is the tweet that kind of started that meme.
No.
It's so clearly a lie.
which is the sort of pop culture crossover I can celebrate.
Yeah, that wins the
love-
internet today.
I
Yeah,
love that they're
they
like
just broke
most
the
pop
internet.
culture most pop culture
fucking
collabs crossovers. Not into them.
Thumbs down.
Yeah.
thumbs
Also,
down.
what did she say about Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
To make a child go
Ruthkanda forever.
Who hadn't heard of her?
Yeah.
It wasn't
Also,
like
when
that she
people
died.
say something like, "Oh, that's like the pop culture crossover I can get behind," they're talking about something that like actually happened between like worlds. Like it's like, you know,
yeah,
two
finally.
people actually collaborating, but like Ruth Bader Ginsburg was not in Black
No,
Panther or
yeah.
something.
The
it's like her
crossover
10-year-old daughter made it up.
exists
fictional
only in the
version of
canon
Israel.
of the child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a dream, and that's the kind of thing I can get into.
yeah.
She's like, finally, I've been waiting for them to do this. And it's like, they didn't.
They didn't do it.
Hashtag.
Dude, I can get behind this. Yeah, there's like a GoFundMe to make it happen.
Yeah. Make Ruthkanda happen, please.
The world is waiting.
Ruth kind of forever, dude. Damn. Rip in pieces. Up there with Liz. Big, not Warren.
Yeah, or trust.
Don't worry.
The Queen?
Yeah. My queen.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that,
Liz
by
Truss.
the way.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that
No worries.
for your loss.
I wasn't even involved.
You weren't even involved, like in her demise?
I
Yeah.
was fucking. I was doing something else.
I don't know why now.
busy.
I was somewhere else that day.
Yeah.
I was at the grocery store with like a baseball cap, and I didn't look exactly like me, but I looked like somebody you could find on Craigslist that looks
Okay,
really
do
similar.
you think she died at a grocery store?
Come on.
No, but he said he had an alibi.
I'm saying that I was
Oh.
elsewhere at the time. He
Okay.
was. I was. The guy that was that I hired to myself.
That would be crazy if like we all just kind of assumed she died from like, you know, natural causes or old age, but then like what if they came out with like an autopsy tomorrow that was like she was shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was beheaded.
Yeah, she actually failed to put in the one-time delivery code. And one of the snipers got her at an Airbnb.
Yeah. She forgot the secret word, Maria.
Oh no.
Turns out
Maria.
Diana didn't die. She returned with a katana.
She's back.
She was training in private. Yeah, she was like on a mountain somewhere
no.
training,
The League of
studying the
Assassins.
blade.
studying the way of the blade. Oh my
You
god.
sure you're ready? Just go stabs an old lady. Training for 20 years.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, that wasn't hard at all. I
wow,
could.
yeah.
I didn't need to train for that."
She's also much older now.
Yeah, yeah. If anything, I'm weaker than I was when I started training. That was like 30 years ago.
I probably should have called it quits a few decades back.
Queen Danda forever.
Danda.
Damn, yeah, Lizonda forever.
She lives on.
She lives on.
She lives on in all of our hearts.
Trust Liz on in my heart. Dude, what the fuck is up?
What else you guys want to talk about?
I was gonna ask you, Danny, what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a software engineer.
Oh, okay.
At the Grove.
Oh, like the
mall?
like the mall in LA.
Yeah, I just work on their software and stuff.
Oh,
Nice.
I didn't know they really had
What
software. Yeah.
Automatic doors, I guess.
Yeah, they have a computer like in the they have a computer.
The big
Okay,
one.
So
yeah.
I just sort of work on that.
That's really
Yeah.
good. That
Yeah.
doesn't sound like software engineering, so to speak.
I think most people actually have used
Yeah,
a
that's
computer.
kind of just like working on a computer. Like
Well,
you
I
can
get
do
it up and
anything.
running and stuff.
He lives in
Like
Illinois.
every day?
I get it up and
You
running.
get it
Yeah.
up and
It's a
running?
crank start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just sort of work on the computer at the
at the Grove.
what did I say? The Grove.
What did I
Yeah. See, because that makes me think you really don't do it. Bad commute, I feel
I
like.
do it. Yeah, it's fulfilling work and it's man's work and someone's got to do it.
it's working. Someone's gonna do it. A man, me.
At a mall.
At a mall.
It's a man's mall.
Someone's gotta crank that computer. Gotta crank that Soldier Boy. No, but I did actually want to ask, like, so obviously, like, there's work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know you're into running. You just ran a marathon.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you, man.
How long did you train for that? Like, I guess an official.
Yeah, our marathon was in October of last year, and the training program for that was I think like 16 weeks, but that was from having run a half marathon already. So it's
Okay.
like half marathon to marathon training program, and then I think the half marathon one was like 12 weeks or something like that. So whatever that adds up to, it's probably the total.
Should be 8.
That's like 28 weeks. That's
Yeah.
like more than half a year.
Yeah, but I mean, that wasn't like from nothing because we had already run like we could probably run like 5 miles maybe before we started.
Yeah.
How long's a
Training
full
for that.
marathon?
26.2.
26, yeah.
6.2. That 0.2 seems a bit arbitrary, huh?
You the
I
story
think it's
of
like
marathons
41
is cool.
kilometers.
Oh, of course.
Wait, but no, the distances it is arbitrary because it's from
Oh yeah, yeah. A marathon is a marathon because in like ancient Greece there was like some
Yeah.
battle where there was like a Paul Revere type of situation where a guy had to run from one place to marathon
Yeah.
Greece, and it was 26 miles. And when he got there, he died.
It's 26.2. But yeah, the
he's like just learned this information.
Yeah.
And now
I'm a
he's
big
an
guy for
expert.
trivia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like you were correcting me. I
Yeah.
told-
Those 0.2 must feel weird. It's like, come on, I've done the marathon, please.
Yeah.
My feet hurt so much.
No, by then, it was kind of weird. Like they had signs for every mile marker, but then I think when you got to like 25 or 26 or whatever, they stopped showing miles, and then they showed how many meters you had to go or something like that. And so it's like, when I don't even know how many meters are in like a whatever. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this doesn't mean anything to me, but I guess I'm close enough that
Yeah.
they like changed the units of measurement.
Yeah.
Here's how many centimeters until
Yeah.
you reach
It's
how many
like
meters.
the what is it called? Like the halting problem, where you just like keep having the distance. There's that like, oh fuck, it's like if you have a door that's like, I don't know, at that wall, and you say like go half the distance to the door, then you'd go halfway, and then you say go half the distance to the door.
Right.
Oh yeah, but you
will
never make
actually
it.
approach
Yeah,
the door.
but you'll get so close.
Yeah, so that's you. It's like it just keeps the units keep getting smaller and
Yeah.
smaller.
That's a half
Okay,
marathon.
yeah.
That's why you can never finish a half marathon.
Yeah.
That's
You
right.
Gotta get it in
Yeah.
half until eventually.
Oh, that's so true.
Oh, oops! I did a full marathon by accident.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's fun.
Would you do it again?
A full marathon? Yeah. So I did do another half marathon in May.
Yeah, like because we saw you for birthday.
Oh yeah, that was
birthday
right
time.
before
You
I
like
did-
left to go do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you were saying you were like partying with us for the weekend, and then you were like, man, I shouldn't have gone so hard on the partying. 'cause
Yeah,
yeah.
that
but,
kind of screwed me over for
Dan the
the
animal.
the
You
half
were
marathon.
calling yourself.
but hey,
Yeah,
we had a good time.
I was going buck wild that weekend.
we had a
Man.
buck time. We told
You
people
had itchy
about
feet.
the.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
You just kept every day I'd see you, you'd come down and go like, feet are itchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first day we saw you, you were like, anybody else's feet get itchy here? Yeah,
Okay, so
no?
for those
In
who
Canada.
we're weren't there,
For
every
those who
time
weren't at Curtis,
Yeah. every time I go to Curtis and Jenna's house, my feet get so itchy. I don't know what it is. And they use like very neutral, because I thought maybe it was like the sheets or something with the detergent, but they use very like neutral detergent, and their house is very clean. It's not like there's like little critters or anything, like little bed bugs or.
And nobody else that stayed there has reported having.
No,
itchy
nobody
feet,
else
so
has itchy feet.
No.
Do you ever have itchy feet in other settings?
No. It's such an unusual.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Sounds like you better call Dave.
Yeah, quite
You might
frankly.
be entitled to compensation.
I gotta sue them. And I'd be curious to know what anybody thinks in the comments. But so
'cause
the
we do
whole weekend
sometimes
I was
put
kind of just
people
like,
on medical marvels. We like ask them what's up.
You do a sleep study and see if you're itching your feet in your sleep. Ow, 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 ow.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, because wait. I don't know, man.
But
that
that went away by the time I ran the half marathon. Luckily,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my feet didn't
What
itch
the fuck,
anymore.
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Oh, that
it's
would
like
be-
the second I left their house, it was like a curse was
Yeah.
lifted and my feet didn't itch anymore, and I felt like a sense of peace and calm.
Right.
It's possible that Curtis was tickling your little feet.
Tickling my feet all
Yeah, I was
night.
thinking maybe they had like little feathers at the end of the bed. That they
Oh.
would just like.
Did you hear
tickle your feet.
giggling?
I
Impish
did wake
giggles?
up. I did wake up giggling several times, but I just
Yeah.
attributed that to like a goofy dream that I couldn't remember.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
I think it might have been the feathers at the end of the bed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess so.
Did you hear scurrying of Curtis's little feet as he ran away?
Well, the thing about staying with Curtis and Jenna is you kind of always just hear scurrying because I
Right.
think that they're kind of restless sleepers, and so I heard it like above and in the rafters and in the
Right,
ducts and
right.
stuff because I
He's
think they
scared of
just
a
kind of
lot of
scurry
stuff.
around.
Yeah. They're like Peter Pettigrew. They can turn into
Turn into
little
rats
mice.
and they're
Yeah.
nocturnal. So
Try
Right.
going into their apartment because it's a perfectly arched shape at the skirting board of a wall.
Yeah.
You try and catch them with a hammer and they're able to run under there really quick.
yeah,
That's like a whole Tom
Quick
and
little
Jerry
buggers.
situation. You're
It's real
Tom.
Tomed.
yeah. They really tommed me.
We told people about the limo the limo situation.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yes.
That was a good time.
that was fun.
We got some nice photos.
You know what? It was kind of like annoying in the moment, but
Yeah.
it's a good story, and I look back on it fondly.
Yeah, I think it was like the right amount of inconvenience where
Yeah.
if like it had stretched out for any longer, it probably would have been very annoying.
It was a Austin Powers impersonator style experience.
Right,
to a
exactly.
degree,
Did you tell that on the podcast?
We did,
Okay.
yeah.
We even exposed his great joke, dude.
Oh
We
yeah.
stole his bit.
You
You want to
s-
sit on my Facebook?
You're gonna ruin his
no.
business
Will you
now. No
bleep
one's
it?
gonna
You're
hire him
gonna
anymore.
ruin a
'cause they
whole
already know
generation,
Did a good
yeah.
joke.
Oh, man.
Oh, the question about what do you do though was actually, are you getting up to anything? Like, I feel like you probably got so much on your plate right now with the kid coming,
Yeah.
and just working and things like that. But is there like, how do you like to relax
Well,
other than watching Ninja Kids?
okay. Shit. Other than watching my
Other than
favorite
watching
YouTube channel,
Ninja
Ninja
Kid.
Kids. In terms of TV, Laura and I watch a lot of Survivor.
Oh yeah,
But we recently ran out of seasons to watch.
Right.
Because we watched all of them.
that's crazy.
yeah.
That's how that'll happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to wait for them to make another one.
Right.
But wait, we just found a show called Alone. Have you guys ever watched Alone?
No, someone brought this up to me recently, but no.
It's crazy. So it's kind of like Survivor, but
reality
if they took all the like fun parts out of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, Jeff Probst.
Okay.
No, yeah, they took all like the like actual competitive like game parts
Oh.
out of it,
Yeah.
and it's actually more like Man vs. Wild, but if it was a game or like a competition.
like, not Bear. Is like was that Bear Grylls?
Bear Grylls, yeah.
Yeah. So instead of like a professional survivalist, it's just like a bunch of like amateurs.
Well, they are all supposedly survival experts,
Okay.
but they send 10 of them out into the wild, but not together. They're all in like their own plot of land, like miles away from everyone else, so they couldn't.
Interesting.
And
Did they come across each other?
no. No, they never come across each other. They're far enough apart. They're in like the one we watched, they were in British Columbia in like grizzly bear country. And it just seemed like it was such a vast expanse of land that like they could have walked for like a day and not seen any of them. And they don't know who is still like in. So it's whoever's left at the end wins like 500 grand.
Wow.
But they don't know who is
That's
still
crazy.
in. They started the season in the fall, and by the time it was over, it was in the winter. And I think
What the
I forget how
fuck?
many days they were there, but they said like the most anyone's ever lasted on that show is like 115 days or something like that.
That's so
I'm good.
crazy.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll do it at home.
Isn't that kind of fucked up that it's like Survivor seems a lot easier than that, and you
Yeah.
win $1 million if you win
Right.
Survivor.
They're still trying to get Alone off the ground. They're like,
Yeah.
we don't have like the whole institution built out.
They
yet.
need
a long
Alone
shoot.
for Alone.
Hey,
Come on, man.
That's my show. It's Alone, but it's spelled A space
I
LOAN.
take out a loan of $1 to buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, it's
Cross my
whoever
fingers.
can last the longest evading debt collectors.
You guys watch Naked and Afraid?
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of when you said Alone.
I watched a bit of that. Yeah, I used to be super into Bear Grylls when I was in like high school. I used to watch a lot of that show.
Yeah.
And I watched a little bit of Naked and Afraid.
Now
Yeah.
you've got to watch out here. To get past this crack, we'll have to drink my piss.
Yeah, he
I'm
was always
sleepy.
doing that, man.
Yeah.
I'm sleepy and I'm running out of piss. So to make more piss, I'm gonna drink my piss.
I made a Vine, like, basically with that joke one time where it was like, for no reason, he basically started drinking his piss. And then I got tagged in a bunch of other Vine, like, that was like a super common joke on Vine, I
yeah.
guess. Like, a million other people had already made that
Right.
joke. And I was like, man, that guy really likes to drink piss, dude.
He is out of control.
He's pretty much imparted his wisdom in one
Yeah.
He's up there.
particular way.
I would go so far to say top 10 piss. Like he's probably had more piss than almost anyone.
So is that
a
like
good
a
point.
real thing? Because I've heard that like drinking your piss doesn't really do anything. Or I've heard it dehydrates you, and I've heard like all these other things. But if Bear Grylls is doing it so much,
Right.
What if he
yeah,
just-
maybe he just likes
yeah.
the taste.
he's
I don't know.
yeah, he's
yeah,
kind
he's
of.
kind of just.
I'm at
You,
home.
you need to get a craving for like a Gatorade or something like that. You're like, well,
I would go home. I think if I was like in the desert and I was gonna die, I would go home.
You
That's-
just go home.
that's
yeah.
I've got like a
idea.
tap
Just
and
call an
show.
Uber or something.
Yeah.
yeah, we get a bunch of survive. We make a show called Call an Uber and Go Home.
Yeah.
It's like
Uber
we put
home.
a bunch of people in the middle of nowhere, and they just gotta call an Uber and go home. And whoever
dash
gets
into
home
the-
first.
Dash into the house, panicked, go over to the tap. It's LA tap. What do I see? Like, oh, let me just get the filter.
Yeah, let me
you
get the
wait.
filter. Yeah.
Lips cracked. Just like,
Oh,
I'm so thirsty.
Then you like Uber Eats your dinner,
yeah, I'm so hungry,
and you're
but
like, I need to get some sustenance.
Yeah, it's
frozen?
just survive at home.
yeah, that's kind of what my life.
It's just
is
called
like.
depressed.
Dude, that would actually be kind of a crazy idea for a show where it's like it is kind of like outlast the other contestants, but it's
Right.
just like it just like kind of follows you for your whole life. So it's just like out of these 10 people we pick at random,
Yeah.
who like actually lives
Linda
the
lived
longest.
to 110 years old.
So the show doesn't come out for like 80 years.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how much variance there is in like the human body and health?
Oh,
where like
That's hilarious.
when like somebody dies who's like 150 or no, they'll interview somebody, they'll be like, you're the oldest living person, what's your secret? And they're like, I smoke cigarettes and I drink whiskey or
Just
whatever.
drink a lot of Coca-Cola, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and literally it's like they don't do any of the stuff that like is supposed to be healthy, but it's like there's so much randomness in
But they also have like like carapace. Like they're
Yeah.
built like a locust.
Yeah.
It's like,
Damn.
I've lived like this my whole life and I couldn't feel better.
Yeah, I actually haven't moved from this position for like 30 years.
yeah, but I'm having a good time.
One
And never
finger
go
left.
never go to bed angry. That's my other piece of advice.
Yeah, Laura had an older relative who only drank Pepsi. And when I say like only drank Pepsi, I mean like no water. Like she would bring Pepsi to any function and it would always be a can with a straw in it. And
One can?
I think she had more in the car, but
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. It's nice warm hips.
I do get it to some degree because as a child, I had very little supervision and I ate like garbage. I was like eating junk food, fast food, like soda, like all the time. And when I would crave it as an adult or when I crave it as an adult, I do not feel bad when I have it. I feel, if anything, I feel good.
Because it reminds you of childhood.
Or like my body's got some my gut like my gut
like-
biome is like
Yeah.
a fucking nuclear waste
Yeah.
dump.
Oh,
or
I'm
something.
used to this shit. We know how to process
We
this.
know how to process this.
Yeah. No, I was kind of the opposite. My mom was like super health conscious growing up, so we never had like soda in the house.
Yeah.
All of our cereal was like flax buckwheat cereal.
Exactly the same. No soda, no treats. Weird cereal.
Yeah.
Brand.
I'll
So-
probably be closer to that.
Yeah.
Like with my kids. Because I think that while it's nice to be nostalgic, it's like I don't love that it feels good to put so much trash into my body.
I'm gonna give your
Right.
kids menthol cigarettes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to just like instill like healthy habits.
Habits, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
I don't want to police like what they're
No.
eating, but I do think that like understanding the like understanding that like everything in moderation and like
Yeah.
your fuel, it's like food as fuel. Like it's something that I feel like I had to learn so much later in life. It's like, oh, eating a donut isn't really going to do as much for me as like eating like, I don't know.
You want a treat to be a treat.
Yeah,
chicken,
yeah.
yeah.
Food is fuel, but also sometimes food is treat.
Oh, I would say food is often treat for
I've always
me.
wanted to learn food is treat.
Yeah.
It's important to teach
Food
a
is
good food is
treat.
treat.
Yeah.
Food is definitely treat
Food
and
is
fuel.
treat.
It's kind of amazing food.
Pizza
Food
is
have-
mood, and donut is bae.
Yeah.
Bacon
And
is
food is
epic. Bacon wins the internet today.
Try
dude.
again next time, everybody else.
Donuts for the win.
I keep having questions and then forgetting them.
What do you guys do for fun?
Ooh, I've been playing video games recently. I've been playing the Zelda games. So I just finished Ocarina of Time. Or I finished Tears of the Kingdom, which was like, it's a big game right now.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get enough. So I went back to Ocarina of Time because that was a game I played a lot as a kid. And then I loved that. And it was great.
You
And
tempted to play Breath of the Wild again, or is it too big a step
no.
backwards from?
No, I can't play Breath of the Wild
Yeah.
again. It's so long. And I wouldn't say it's a step back, but in that engine, I love like what Tears of the Kingdom gives you in terms of expressiveness and like how you can like solve problems very creatively. So going back to Breath of the Wild feels strangely more linear.
Sure. It's like
Yeah.
taking
Oh,
songs
wow.
off an album. It's like,
Yeah,
it's just
it does feel like taking songs off an album. Yeah.
How long does it like take to beat like Tears of the Kingdom? Like do everything that you would want to do? I feel like I've heard that it's like so expansive.
It's really long. I feel like you could easily spend like 150 hours in that game and like
Yeah.
get a lot out of it. I think for me, I played like my Switch says I played for over 100 hours, but I don't think I did.
Dang.
I don't think I did. I think I played like 60, 70, maybe more, but I don't know. And then like Ocarina of Time is like 25 hours to beat, like, and just do everything. And then like Breath of the Wild, it's like 50 hours, people say.
Yeah.
I don't know. But a lot of those games, like, you're mostly just, I think there's like different ways to play. Like one where you're just exploring, and another where you're like kind of on a mission to like
Yeah.
really like get through stuff. How has your gaming experience been? Because I think it's been interesting to see like, you streaming games and then you playing Minecraft or playing like GTA on
Doing
stream.
a
I saw that.
spectacular job at learning to speedrun Minecraft.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
man.
you're kind of like one of the new up and coming speedrunners.
What's your best? What's your PR right now? What's your time?
My PR is I got to the Nether and I got enough ender pearls.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you went.
Do you ever
then
do
you
like
persevered.
save states or anything like that to like keep the run going?
No. I mean I've tried going in like creative mode a few times or like
Right.
doing like keep inventory on. You can do like a cheat that does that.
for sure.
So
To literally just see what it feels like.
Right.
To finish the
Because
game.
I think of it as
Which
like
you have not done.
I have done every step individually multiple
Yeah.
times, but it's so hard like
Oh, for context, Danny has done a few streams and just privately like learning to speedrun Minecraft.
yeah, I was gonna do it for a video, and I'm no longer sure if I am because it's been so hard, and I don't want to know if I don't know if I want to keep dedicating the time to it.
Yeah.
I'm like really bad at games, so I don't know if we talked about this before, but like I like have always like played them. Like me and my brother would play a lot growing up, and my brother got like so good at video games, like weird levels of good at video games. Like he could do like he got really into Guitar Hero and could do
Yeah.
Through the Fire and Flames like without looking at the TV.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get past
That's my
like
kinda
medium
guy.
mode on
Oh yeah.
Guitar Hero. We would play Halo, and I would always do the worst out of all my friends. I
Yeah.
just like I think I get flustered, and I don't know. Maybe I'm too impulsive or something, but I'm not good at video games. I've never been good at
I
it.
think
That's
there's like
interesting.
it feels, especially these days, there's definitely like two types of gaming experiences, and one is games with very clear fail states, like objective failure,
Like you
loss,
died, yeah.
which is so,
Defeating.
or like where you lose and it's a reflection of your skill, not just kind of loosely
Yeah.
Losing by luck can be frustrating, but like at least it's kind of like a leisurely experience, and I think a lot of more appealing, broad, successful games do that. Whereas in the case of other successful games that are more niche in their experience, I think that's the stuff that turns some people off.
Yeah.
Because imagine if you had to put hours of literacy and learning into watching a movie. like
Right.
learning to sit down
Yeah.
and learning to see the movie.
Yeah.
I do sympathize with people that like. I love games. I've always loved games.
Yeah.
But I have tried getting dozens of people into games, and until a couple of releases like Spider-Man PS4 was really good for introducing friends.
I
to
actually
games.
did. I played that whole game, but that's the last game that I played like all the way through, and yeah. I kind of like can't really even get into the story of most games because I'm like not. I just like don't feel proficient enough to
Right. That's
like,
really interesting.
Like not focus on trying to not die.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. You know what's funny that you mentioned getting flustered, because I feel like you, at least from a temperament standpoint, seem like a very unflappable person. You seem very like nothing really like phases you.
Yeah.
Did people not tell you that?
No, I know that. Yeah.
okay.
No, I do. I don't know what it is, but I feel like if you watched me play Minecraft, you would like the second I see an enemy, I start screaming, and I'm like, I don't know if I should fight it or run away, and so I kind
Right,
of try to do
right.
both at the same time, and I
Right.
can do neither well. So I think I have bad hand-eye coordination too, and maybe that's what causes me to be flustered. Yeah.
How about outside of games? Like, is there anything that like particularly is frustrating for you?
I get frustrated about weird stuff. Laura says that the only time she's ever really seen me like angry was when we moved into our last house. We mounted the TV on the wall, and then I was trying to run cables through the wall so that our like consoles can be in the TV stand.
Yeah.
And just trying to like the kit that we got came with like a stick that you try to get
Yeah,
to
I've
come
seen
out
the
the
stick.
hole on the
I've
bottom.
seen the stick.
I was at it for like 2 hours. I think it's easier on some walls that don't have insulation, but
Yeah.
it was an exterior wall, so I had to push through the insulation.
Yeah.
And I just could not get that fucking stick to come out the hole on the bottom for like an hour. And I was just like, I was irate.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
that would piss me off.
What is that about? I agree. There's like DIY, especially some more elaborate setups, is such a complicated thing that it's people's jobs. Like they spend their whole lives
Yeah.
crafting it, and yet when I try doing it and I can't, I get angry.
Yeah.
Like if I just like sat down at a concert piano, I'm like, I don't fucking know how to do this. It's not fair.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like, yeah, I don't. Yeah,
should
it's
be
funny
bad at
to be so pissed about something I've never tried to do before.
Oh,
I've been like, I don't
I-
have any reason I should be
Going
able
to the
do
slopes
this.
for the first time, falling off or like falling over while trying to be on your skis. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's
Why are these hard?
That's a big thing for me, actually. Like growing up, I would like always expect to be really good at everything I tried, and if I wasn't, then it like made me mad because I would get
yeah.
very like mad. I would get very internally
Down on yourself,
down on
yeah.
myself. Yeah, and I think that funneled into a lot of my like competitiveness as a kid, and it would make me better at things because I really hated being bad at them.
Yeah.
Or I would like get good at things in private. Trying to think like learning the dances to High School Musical. Well, I was doing that for a video that I was going to do in high school, and we ended up putting like one video out, but like I had learned a bunch of choreography to like teach
Yeah.
people.
I think you've mentioned
Yeah,
before that you know
yeah.
like the we're all in this together
Yeah.
dance for sure.
Work
Which
this
I
out.
knew at one time too, because I
Yeah.
think they like they did like a lesson on
dance
how to do
along.
it during one of the
Yeah.
premieres.
They had
or
a
something.
whole special. Like I have a DVD where it's like the dance along where they teach you to do all the dances, all the songs.
Okay.
But yeah, like that was like, oh, I can't be bad at this in front of someone. I have
Yeah.
to privately get very good at it, and then kind of show up nonchalantly and be like, oh, is it like this? And then
Yeah.
and then I just know it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that with like games and stuff.
It's funny. That's the exact opposite of how I always was as a kid. It's like if I'm not immediately good at it, it's bad. I have no interest in getting. Actually,
Yeah.
no. It's objectively bad, and if you like it, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that introvertive thing where you do that but with like social situations where you like try to plan out what's the conversation going to be about before you get
Oh.
there, and like what am I going to say?
I do that like with dates and stuff. When I get really nervous
Oh,
about
okay.
a date,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what do I know about this person? What if I talk about this topic and then I don't? It's like it never actually pans out that way.
Yeah.
But it's like my anxiety trying to go, oh, like here's a backup plan or something like
Yeah,
that.
you guys seem very like extrovert, or at least more like outgoing than me, I think. So maybe do you
I think it's a
experience that?
performance.
I think it's in spite of the way we naturally
Yeah,
are.
'cause-
Oh, okay.
I think
'Cause
it's-
I think
That's impressive.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's not that I dislike it, but I would say, especially as a kid, it was very insular.
Yeah.
I'm not super subscribed to I feel like a lot of that stuff is kind of over medicalized, where it's like, yeah, I gain energy or I lose
Yeah,
energy.
and that's
it's
not
the
really what I
rules,
mean. I'm just kind of like, are you guys shy?
Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you mean. It's, as a kid, I was very much just like I always felt on the back foot a little bit with a lot of conversations, and
I agree. Yeah.
that sometimes, at least for me, it incentivized me to kind of be a little bit of the clown. And in retrospect, I didn't like that. Now I feel like I get to be more sincere generally and a little lower tempo. But I always admired kids at the time that would just be
Like be kind
sociable,
of like vulnerable and like personable.
fucking
Yeah.
relaxed,
Yeah.
cool, nice to be around, but
Not
ultimately
trying to
like,
hide behind bits all the time.
Yeah.
in theory, someone like that, some bullshit. Not having to create a production of some sort
Yeah.
to monetize their ability to communicate with others. Or something,
Oh
some
wait, that
shit.
seems super specific.
I gotta go.
You know what's funny is I think of myself as a shy person, but I have all these like little tricks.
Ooh.
Like in events like VidCon and things like where there's kind of a what's the word? Schema, I guess is the psychology word, but like there's a recipe for like things you can talk about and things you can do.
Yes.
I feel like I can stick to that like very well. And then I can be polite and accommodating and like help people out. And I like try to put myself to use to give myself something to do, to give myself something to talk to somebody about. You know, because I'm really, really bad with just like a blank slate.
Yeah.
If I don't.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
you don't
feel
know
like I
which-
feel like I've
yeah.
gotten a little better at it at stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like
I think
if
that's
people
just through
like
exposure of doing it.
I guess
for
so,
so many
yeah.
years, yeah.
And thinking a lot about it. Like next like after a conversation I could be like, how could that have gone better? I probably should have asked them more questions about themselves. I probably should have I don't know.
When I was a kid, I used to like not speak to adults.
Oh, really?
Like I would talk to my friends, and then would be like I'd be at Russell's house, and his parents would ask me a question, and I'd go, and then I'd whisper to Russell something to say.
Really?
And he would say it for me. Cause
Were
I'm
you like too
afraid of-
nervous to talk
Yeah,
to
I
them?
think I'm just too shy for people I'm not comfortable with, or I'm like, I don't know. Even now, like there's a certain part of me, like the same friend. Is like one of my childhood friends, and like his family came to Creator Clash to like support me and stuff, and I like hung out with them, and there's all these times where they're like, it's so funny how you used to not talk to us, so like because like they knew it's like you were such a quiet kid, and now you have like this career where you're like always like gregarious and talking to people. I'm like, yeah, but it's like an act, not like I'm being fake, but like it's how I wish I could be. But I just learned strategies to like get closer to that
Fake it till
goal.
you make it, man.
Yeah, but ultimately it's like really draining.
You mean I liked studying music theory, but I'm not a savant. Like Jacob
Yeah.
Collier just
Yeah.
understood it.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
brain just was able to get to it. Plus for work, I had to get comfortable with it, I guess, for partnership stuff.
Speaking of the video game stuff, my brother is also really musically talented and has
Damn.
So
perfect
fucked.
pitch and stuff.
Do you have
yeah.
anything?
Huh?
Do you have like anything?
Do I have anything?
Is he older or younger?
Gosh, he's 2 years older than me.
Rough.
Yeah.
What's he do?
He's a server at a restaurant in Austin.
So he's
That's
not like
awesome.
a YouTuber.
No, I guess I've got
'Cause
that
he'd
going.
be
I'd
better
probably
at
be
it.
better at making YouTube videos than him, but only because he's never tried. And I'm really hoping he doesn't.
It seems like he would be better.
Yeah, he might be better
under
at
the same
that, too.
circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the only sibling?
No, I have a younger sister too.
I see you a family guy.
I'm a family man, yeah, because I
Family
have
guy.
a brother and a sister.
Yeah.
Okay. That was.
You also have like a dog.
Stretching.
No, we can cut that out.
Yeah, wait.
It looked extremely embarrassing, but we'll cut it out.
Remember when you were
Okay.
talking about like being natural and like getting better at conversations and stuff? That was weird.
I thought the chair went farther this way, and I was like gonna like put my arm here, but I was
Yeah.
already sitting on like the edge of it this way, so I just went like this. Yeah, but you guys didn't notice.
No, we didn't.
No, nobody did.
I was just
Thankfully, it's
thinking
not the
like I think the other thing with like my friends' parents is like if I'm comfortable with somebody, then I'm like cool talking to them and I can relax around them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're all staying together here and it's so different the vibe. Like I feel like I can relax around people here, whereas if I'm like at VidCon on the floor, I'm always like, is somebody gonna walk up to me? I'm not gonna be ready to like have a conversation. So many people who I don't remember that remember me or have worked with me.
Yeah.
Or even if somebody will say, "Oh, hey Jarvis," and then I'll go, "Oh no, I don't recognize this face. I don't know where I know this person from. I probably look like a deer in headlights." And then they'll be like, "I work on the behind the scenes of this thing we've never met before." And I'm like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool." Like, because they didn't
I
expect
booked you
it.
for the panel, but we have never
But my
communicated.
brain is going, is it from this person? Is it from this
Right.
person? There's a few people who I've run into who I just cannot for the life of me remember like what I know them from.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they'll
yeah.
be like, "Do you know who that is?" And it'll be like, "Not a clue." It's like,
Yeah.
it's like we're all kind of
Yeah.
faking it, basically.
I keep doing the thing where like there are people like other YouTubers and stuff that I've seen so much on YouTube and I forget if I've met them in real life. So when I
Yeah.
like go up to talk to them, I'm like, have we met before? Or do I
Right.
am I just having like a parasocial relationship
Right,
with
right.
you?
I am under no circumstances willing to introduce or like meet somebody and be like, I know you from Twitter. Like,
yeah.
oh, we're mutuals. I
Okay.
would rather die. I
Yeah.
just can't do it. I met Jasmine Rice Girl in person for the first time yesterday. We had a decent conversation. I wasn't 100% sure it was her.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
And then went away later and she DM'd was like, oh,
That was
right.
you.
We're mutuals. Right. Okay,
funny.
then. Because what is that relationship? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have like a particular insecurity about when social stuff is different? My fear is always that I was annoying. And I think that's because I was an annoying kid. And I can be an annoying adult if I'm not too conscious of it. But is there like a thing when you walk away from a conversation that maybe you're worried didn't go quite the way you wanted it to? I'm so ugly.
Yeah, no, I think that generally my thing is just like I think that it was either like underwhelming for them or that just that they were pretending to be nice to me and they actually don't like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
Do people ever wonder if any of you guys don't like them? Do you know what I mean? I've gotten that sometimes. Like, I don't know if Jordan likes me.
Yeah, no, I do get that a lot because I am like very dry a lot. Like I'm kind of like monotone sometimes or just like not
Sure,
very expressive with my face sometimes. So I'll get that like they're like people will be like, I never know what you're like feeling. And so I can't tell if you're mad at me or if
Right,
you're just
right.
like, yeah. But I'm not gonna start pretending to have stuff. I'm just gonna keep doing what I do.
Right,
man.
pretend I have
pretend
feelings.
to have
That's
stuff.
everyone else's problem. They
I
can
get
figure
mad
out.
when I do DIY and nothing else. I love everyone except that. How about you? People think that you don't like them?
Oh, about him?
No, but you. Oh.
Yeah, is there anything else you don't like about
No,
me?
no. Hey, we like him just fine.
Okay. I
Mid.
mean, yeah, I get there's so many things I don't like about myself, but I think, yeah,
Roller scroll out.
yeah. I think one big insecurity is talking too much. Like
Yes.
it definitely comes with ADHD, where you have like a thought at the tip of your tongue that you want to get it out, or else you're gonna lose it.
That's the annoying fear part.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that's something. And then I definitely have the feeling of like meeting people and we go, oh, they're just pretending to like me. Do they actually like me? Are they actually my friend? And I think it'll result in me having interactions where I was like friends all along with somebody, but in my head canon, they didn't like me. And then they like
Yeah.
said something nice like, hey, friend. And I was like, whoa.
You're wrong.
I can't deny that they just acknowledged me as a friend. So
Yeah.
we must be friends. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
It's like an
Yeah, or it's
anime
like really
thought.
nice of them to keep lying and like
Right.
go so deep into this lie.
Right.
You
Yeah.
say thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for pretending.
Yeah. No, sometimes it feels like I'm kind of like a Make-A-Wish or something, and that like everyone is kind of just like, yo,
like
well,
the
we should
Truman
invite
Show
you.
or
We should
something?
bring Danny, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have much time left. We should just
Before you become Dan.
yeah.
Danny's on
Before
the
it
way.
becomes Dan. Yeah. There's only so much Danny left in this world.
Yeah, we have to.
it's about
We're
to be
depleting our
banned.
natural Danny resources.
Danny
Are you
They
gonna
keep
raise
having children.
Would you be willing to raise your child to call you Papa? That'd be cool.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Come on, please.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, Papa, I've watched the latest video.
I do think that my dad might have some kind of strange request like that instead of Grandpa. I think he might want to be like Chief or something like that.
Big dog.
Yeah,
Boss.
Big Dog,
John Wick.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, call me John Wick.
I think he did say. I don't. No, I'm not gonna say that.
It was his address.
Yeah, I think he lives at.
Yeah, don't do that one.
Okay, so I feel like we talked about a little bit of everything
Yeah,
in this episode of Sad Boys.
I am done.
we really ran the gambit. I'm excited to see what we talk about in the bonus episode.
in the bonus episode coming to you right after this one on patreon.com/sadboys is Sad Boys Nights, the Patreon exclusive bonus podcast.
We lie
Premium
back in
podcast.
the chair a lot. You stop, man. Stop doing it. Hey. No, come on.
No, stop that, Danny.
No.
No.
It
you don't have to do
loses
that. You don't have to do that. No.
The views start going down somehow.
Yeah.
I start going down.
Yeah, because of your bad face. You do a good Joker, though. That was quite impressive.
That's
Riddle
Danny
me
does
this.
do good faces.
Yeah.
And you'll see more of those on Sad Boys Nights on Patreon. But this is the end of this episode of Sad Boys. Danny, thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's you can. We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase. But real quick, I have to say this is the first episode we've done in person ever. But then also we had the last episode we did was like almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was on
Which is
Twitch, right? Or like
crazy,
we
yeah.
streamed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID.
Deep
Yeah.
COVID times. Yeah, that was wild. We just did one with Drew too, and we were just like, wow, it was so long ago. It was like we were different people back then.
Yeah.
He didn't have blonde hair. You had less of a baby.
Yeah, I have less of a bit. I still don't have a whole one, but I did have less
Yeah,
for
you
sure
guys
back
are working
then.
on it. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, maybe we'll talk about that. We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase.
We love you.
And we're sorry.
Boom. Took a bunch of photos of people in the office, and then I like started fusing their faces together. Ooh. And so I have a photo of us that's
Look really good.
That is sort of
like
Jarvis
both
Jordan.
of us, together. People would already mix us up, which was kind of
That's
crazy.
fun. That's crazy. I've never heard of something like that happening where like you get mixed up with someone who's like, looks a little similar and makes similar jokes and stuff.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it. Girl, too rich for me.